Hello, I'm Dan McClellan with Bio Network, and we're pleased to be hosting today's webinar entitled Basic Skills Plus for SuccessNC.org. Our panelists today include Matthew Meyer, the Associate VP for Innovation and Biotechnology for North Carolina Community Colleges, Barbara Boyette from Wilson Community College, Diane Cooker from Stanley, Sandra Thompson, Davidson County, Beverly Janes from Caldwell Community College and Technical Institute, and Judy Hill from Lenore Community College. And at this time, I'll pass it over to Matt Meyer.
Thanks, Dan. I have the great honor of getting to facilitate one of the first in a series of webinars that we will be producing or hosting on the SuccessNC website, successnc.org website. And like Dan said, today we're talking about Basic Skills Plus. One of the first things I need to do is thank our panelists who have dropped everything that they were doing in their busy schedules, practically on a last-minute notice, to come and talk about basic skills and to help us spread the news, spread this great information to help other colleges who are now getting to the point where they can implement the Basic Skills Plus program. For those who don't know what Basic Skills Plus is all about, I've got a little definition that I pulled from the state board item from the August State Board, where 13 new colleges were approved for the Basic Skills Plus. And simply, the Basic Skills Plus program was developed to provide employability skills, job-specific occupational and technical skills, and developmental education instruction to students concurrently enrolled in a community college course leading to a high school diploma or equivalent certificate. We now have over 30 colleges. We may be closing in on 40 colleges that have implemented the Basic Skills Plus program. And here we have some of the some of the early adopters, I might say, who are going to talk to us about their successes, their challenges, and some of the key learnings that they have gained since they have implemented Basic Skills Plus. So on to our first presenter, Ms. Barbara Boyette. Take it away.
Thank you, Matt. And I'm very happy to be here this afternoon to talk about the Basic Skills Plus project. I can't begin to tell you what a difference this project has made to our basic skills students at Wilson Community College. To begin with, we chose at Wilson Community College to concentrate on the certified nursing program as the occupational component to merge with basic skills. Our Basic Skills Plus project consisted of course, the Basic Skills Program, Certified Nursing Assistant 1, Human Resources Development, and we also incorporated the North Carolina Career Readiness Certification. We wanted our students to be successful, and so what we did, we looked at a program or a course that we already had in works that gave students basic grammar and reading skills founded in or contextualized in the Nurse Aid project. We selected students or gave them an opportunity to apply, and as well other students that didn't participate in the course were equally encouraged to apply. They filled out an application, and they were given questions to ask, and they met with a panel because we wanted to select students who would be committed to this project. In addition to that, we had about 14 students to apply. And of those 14, we selected 3 based on interviews with the students, looking at and evaluating their applications, and looking at the barriers that might prevent them from following through. One of the barriers that we looked at, as we thought was really important, would be persistence. We really wanted to know just how regular a student would be committed to coming to this program. We felt the student would need to be in class, the GED or adult high school class 2 days a week, as well as being in the occupational training classes and HRD courses. So we were looking for students who had a real commitment, who didn't have any barriers or any other hindrances that would keep them from participating in the project. In addition to that, once those individuals were selected, out of the 14, we selected 3. The College Foundation Board provided each of the students upfront $500 scholarships. I can't begin to tell you how important that was to our students because many of them did not have jobs. And had this money not been provided to them upfront, they probably would not have been able to participate in the program. And once we had our students selected and had their schedules defined, students from Monday through Thursday attended classes. On Mondays and Tuesdays, they were in their adult high school programs. Monday and Wednesday they were in adult high school programs, and on Tuesdays and Thursdays they were in the Nurses Aid program, and then in the afternoons on Tuesdays and Thursdays they were in the HRD program. What happened is that 2 out of the 3 students successfully completed the CNA program. They also passed the North Carolina Certified CNA exam. In addition to that, the 3rd student who did not pass, she passed the skills part, but she did not pass the writing. She has since paid the additional fee that's required to retake the writing skills test, and she is expected to take that test sometime this month. Her instructors, both in the basic skills and the CNA course, anticipate that she will pass the program. I can't begin to tell you all the important things that this project has meant to our students. Many of them have said that had it not been for this project, they would not have been able to pass or take this course and pass the CNA exams, at least 2 of those students. And what really made our project, I think, successful was that the instructor, we hired someone who not only taught in our GED program to teach our students the basic skills plus the CNA component, but she was also a certified nursing assistant. So that really helped to merge and integrate basic skills doctoring in the nurses' aids component. In addition to, the students got some of that same instruction in their HRD program as well. Many of the students that came to us, even who applied, did not have any foundational background in that field of study. They were interested in being a nurse's aid assistant, however, they had no prior knowledge of what it would take. So being able to give them that additional instruction outside of the occupational component only helped reinforce their learning once they were in that occupational skills class. And the most important thing I thought about seeing the transformation in these students were their change of personality. This project, the Basic Skills Plus project, is a win-win situation. We've had so many other students who are now interested and would like to participate in the project. We started out with fewer students than what we had anticipated. We had hoped to start with 14, and we ended up with 3, but we feel that it's important that the right students are selected so that they can be successful. We do not want to set our students up for failure. These were average students. They were your basic adult secondary low students. They were not your adult secondary high level students, and most basic skills directors will know what level I'm talking about. Here they fall in that 9th and 10th grade level, which made it very not easy, but it represented students who oftentimes may not have had the advantages or the success of going through or getting their certified nursing assistant. Being able to do this simultaneously really helped them reinforce why they are in class. One of the students said they intend to continue their project or their program and study and go into the nursing program. And others, the other 2 just really thanked us. And I think what really made the difference is being able to have that scholarship money up front. Oftentimes our students do not have the funds, as I said earlier, to pay for a lot of the occupational or continuing educational curriculum programs. But if they not being able to have that money up front certainly would have hindered one of the 3 students from participating. But we feel like our project has been a success, even though one of the 3rd students did not pass 1/2 of the state exam. I am confident that she will pass. That particular student will earn her adult high school diploma sometime this semester. The other 2 students who have completed the CNA 1+ program will earn their high school diploma requirements early spring. And we anticipate starting this project again next semester. Thank you.
Great. We'll move on to Diane.
Good afternoon. Our program is similar to Barbara's. We started with 2 choices for our students in Basic Skills Plus. We started with NA1 as they were doing, and we also had an Energy Rater program. Our students also had to fill out an application to be part of this, and we were very excited because we had about 20 students fill out the applications to be part of that. Of those, we picked 15. 10 were for the NA1 program and 5 for the Energy Rater program. I'm going to talk to you first about the NA1 class. Our students had a little bit different schedule than what Barbara was talking about. They had to have completed their HRD before they started this, so they didn't have to worry about that during their time. We had them come 4 mornings a week for 2 hours from 10 to 12 to do their high school diploma, and then they had an hour right after lunch for a cohort class in which they met also with the Energy Rater students, the things that they needed to know as transition students. They worked on vocabulary from the NA1 class and the Energy Rater class, and they worked on what it's like to be a college student and those things. And then they went on to their NA1 class, and that met from 2 to 7 each afternoon for 4 days a week. We were very excited because we were told it was going to be a class mixed with the Con Ed students, but we were able to fill up our NA class ourselves. So we had 10 students in the Basic Skills Plus NA1 class. Of those, 6 completed the course and took their NA1 exam in August or September, and 5 of them passed. We were so excited about that, and the growth that these students saw in the 8 weeks that they were in this program was amazing to me. They went from immature teenagers to confident adults in that short 8 weeks. One of them started working as an NA1 2 days after she passed her exam. She absolutely loves it. And 3 of our 10 students have finished their high school programs at this time. So they'll be in our graduation ceremony in December, and that will be quite exciting. Some success not only for them, but from the side of the college was that for the first time we saw the Con Ed coordinator for the nursing program, nursing aid program, I should say, and the basic skills coordinators working together to make sure that this program was successful. Then the instructors in basic skills got into it, and they all, before this program ever started, they worked many hours together making sure that these students would have what they needed. And that was really a kind of a unique thing to happen at our college. The cohort class created a family with those students, and they were accountable to each other. If somebody was late, they would call them up on the phone and say, hey, why aren't you here? They checked on each other for their projects, just all sorts of things. It was really heartwarming to see how those students worked together and how they bonded with their teacher. Now, the challenge that we had was the Energy Rater class. Despite all our preparation, talking with the gentleman who was an Energy Rater himself, and perhaps I should tell you what that is. An Energy Rater is a person who goes into homes and businesses and checks to see how energy efficient the building is, and then gives you recommendations on how you can fix that. So this gentleman met with our coordinator and such for quite a while and talked about the skills that these students would need. But despite all of that, we had low enrollment in the class, just 5 enrolled in it. They were quite immature, and they never really got that feeling of this is college and I need to really be serious about this. So instead of when things got hard, they all dropped out. The math was very difficult for them. They had had the math in the high school through Algebra 1 and were fine, but the math for this was application math, and they hadn't been exposed to that before. So we wanted to make sure that next time when we offer this, that we provide a prerequisite in the math. That's something that we've learned. Another challenge that we had within our program were all the fees, and I've listed them there on the slide for you. The background check, the insurance, for the NA1s, the scrubs, and then after they finish their course, the NA1 exam is $101 with a $20 fee for processing, and the Energy Rater is $250. That was a lot of money for those students to get together. And how we met this challenge was we formed our first Basic Skills Plus Club. And we had a president, a secretary and a treasurer. We followed Robert's Rules of Procedure, which was a whole other thing for these students to learn, and they really knew nothing about that. That was kind of exciting for them to learn this. And then we began to earn money. We sold lollipops and we did car washes, and they earned all the money for their exams, which was really exciting to me because these students are not used to having to do things themselves that way. They're used to people giving them what they need, either the school giving it to them free or their parents giving them whatever things they need free. And here they had to earn it, and that really helped to solidify them together. Another challenge for us was our instructors. Because of time constraints, it was very hard to get the Con Ed instructors and the basic skills instructors together for any length of time in which they could really spend together and learn from each other. But we managed to do it, and it's really built a sense of unity between our two departments that was lacking, and we really needed that. Beware of surprises is what I like to call it, the last thing. There are many more students costs than we expected. No matter how many ways we asked people, what is it going to cost these students, there was always something else. The NA1 exam applications, they have a new thing that started on August 1st. They either have to be completed online or there's an extra $20 fee for the test. Now, the reason this was problematic for us was our college was going to send one check for all of the students from the money that they earned at Basic Skills Plus Club. But they couldn't send that money with online applications because they would have to do that by credit card. So they wanted to write one check. As you can see, we have $20 per student, and we had 6 students taking the test. And if you extrapolate that through the time that we're going to do Basic Skills Plus, it becomes quite a bit of money. So just look very thoroughly when you start these programs at all the ways that it can catch you money-wise. Some students will not pass the background check. We had a very thorough application process that we talked with the students about and had them fill out, but that didn't allow us to understand that when they did their background checks, there were things in their background that they didn't tell us. And once they don't pass the background check, they can't go into the clinical studies for CNA 1. Instructors must be chosen very carefully. We had an instructor that wanted to do the cohort class exactly the way she did her ABE class. And so we had to make her rethink how she processed things. She expected those students to not have as many skills as they did because she was used to working with the ABE students. So just choose your instructors carefully. The math content and the reading levels, I put that in there to check your math content and reading level yourself. We were told by the energy rater that was teaching the class, oh, this math isn't hard. And I glanced through the text, but I didn't really check it. I was like, oh, yeah, it doesn't look too bad. But if I had tried to do some of those problems, I would have seen the pitfalls. So I'm saying that to you. Check that math content yourself. And then lastly, allow money in the budget that you're doing for Basic Skills Plus for a lot of curriculum development and course planning, both by your Basic Skills staff and by your Con Ed staff. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Diane. That was excellent. Why don't we go ahead and move on with Sandra.
Thank you, Matt, and thanks for giving us the opportunity to showcase our Basic Skills Plus here at Davidson County Community College. We actually are calling our Basic Skills Plus backpacks to briefcases, and one of the first things we do when a student applies to this program, we give them a backpack. And we fill it with some necessary items that they will need for college, and so that they get that feeling that they've transitioned immediately. Some of the successes that we've had, we have an increased visibility on their campus. We chose 7 pathways to begin with: automotive technology, health information technology, logistics management, nursing assistant, pharmacy tech, plumbing, and welding to start our program. So we had to meet with lots of different departments throughout the campus in curriculum and continuing education. We also had to go and have lots of meetings with the folks in the business office to get the reporting piece taken care of. We went to admissions, and it explained our program there so that they could help us recruit students. We went to student advisement because we wanted their help in meeting with our students to advise them as they started into their pathways. Another success was the support that we have gotten from our community agencies. We developed an advisory board to help us with this. We have members from the Department of Social Services, from our local pastor's pantry, from Project Reentry, from Goodwill Industries, from both housing authorities that are in our county, from the library, family services, the ESC, Davidson Works, vocational rehab. All of those partners have come to the table to sit down with us, to look at our program, to look at what our needs are and what the needs of their students are, to help us provide supportive services and supplemental things that they might need to be successful in their colleges. We also have scheduled meet and greets at these partner agencies where our staff goes to their agency and they advertise to get their clients there so that we can tell them of the opportunity that they can be dually enrolled in Basic Skills Plus and college curriculum classes with the tuition waived. Another success with our backpacks to briefcases has been that we've formed a club. And this club has officers, and we focus on student mentoring, leadership activities, and community involvement for our students. Other things that have come about as a result of the program, we've developed a College Ready 2.0 class. Someone mentioned earlier that sometimes the students were immature. When students apply to our program to be accepted into Basic Skills Plus, we look at their at all of their scores, obviously, and we look at their attendance and see how they've been doing. And if we are not sure that they're ready to be enrolled in a curriculum class, we enroll them in College Ready 2.0. And this is a hybrid course that is, there is a lab time, but there's also an online time too. And it focuses on college knowledge. There's a Blackboard or Moodle practice for them so that they become acclimated to that before enrolling in a curriculum class. There are also some reading and writing activities that prepare them for the AccuPlacer if they haven't gotten to that step in the process yet. After they've done that, or if we don't deem that's a necessary piece for them, they enroll in the ACA 090 College Success class. That's the first curriculum course that they'll be enrolled in, and the instructor focuses on 8 wise choices. It's a great introduction as they begin their transition into college courses. We also have a strong transition team that is led by 2 young ladies who are transition coordinators. They meet one-on-one with their students. They meet with them in cohorts, and they're always there to follow up and offer any kind of support that they need that we can provide here on campus, or if it's something that we are not able to provide, we hook them up with the appropriate agency so that they can get that support they need. Challenges that we've had, obviously student barriers. Transportation can be an issue. Child care can be an issue. Having an emergency at home that they're having trouble dealing with these students that are typically first-generation students, it's hard for them sometimes to figure out where their resources are and what they need to do to overcome some of the barriers that they have. And one barrier in itself is student motivation. When they're enrolled in the basic skills classes, of course, we do have an attendance policy and we do encourage them to be here as much as they can, but we are less forgiving when they can't be here and when they have to be out for an extended period of time. So we have to get them to understand that this is going to be different once they enroll in a college course. There is going to be an attendance policy. They are going to have to do homework. There are going to be, more things that are going to be required of them. so that has been a challenge for us. A third challenge I would mention would be scheduling, finding enough time in the day for them to meet with their transition coordinators, for them to go to their Basic Skills Plus classes, and for them to be in their Con Ed or curriculum classes too. So we have had some scheduling issues, and if transportation has been an issue and we've been able to get them here during the day, then sometimes the other classes are scheduled in the evening. So the scheduling can be sort of nightmarish, but for the most part we've been able to work that out. A fourth challenge has been recruitment. Oftentimes students that come to us have the mindset, well, I just want to get my GED right now. So we have to work with them to look at their time constraints, to look at the barriers, to see what we can overcome, and how we can interest them in doing both simultaneously. Key learning, I think first and foremost, one thing that we have learned is that students do need intense preparation before enrolling in curriculum classes. We need to make sure that we do a good job of letting them know that this is going to be different, that there are lots of different requirements and lots of different expectations once they get into curriculum classes. And Appalachian State has done a great brochure, and we have used that with their students, and it outlines the differences and compares the two. Secondly, it's important to plan ahead for the student barriers. Oftentimes when we have that initial meeting with the student, once they have submitted their application, we can identify then what those barriers are, and if they are things that are going to keep them from being able to get to class or get their work done, then we need to take care of those things first before we enroll them in their classes. And going hand in hand with that, I think it's a great idea to integrate it very slowly into the program and to make sure that you've done counseling with the students before enrolling them, just to make sure that their first transition class is positive, so that they do want to move forward and that academically they are able to move forward. And last but not least, I would meet with admissions and the business office prior to implementation to make sure that that the students are coded right for reporting, and so that the business office understands that their fees and tuition have been waived, so that you don't run into problems with that once the classes get started. We have had 50 students enroll so far, and 5 of them have finished the program that they're in and have gotten their GEDs and are moving on into employment. So today, we're very happy with the program. I'm very glad that we implemented it here at Davidson. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra. I love the Backpack to Briefcases name. That's great. Beverly, can you tell us a little bit about your program?
Well, our program, Davidson Community College, Davidson County Community College has been our mentor college, so ours looks a lot like theirs. We have 9 pathways, and I guess I should say that we are one of the Jobs for the Future planning colleges, so we have an extra benefit of having some extra funding and extra help in getting our Basic Skills Plus off the ground. So we were able to do, you know, have a broader range of services and things for students in the planning grant. Our successes have been, we were able to develop a college success class and offer it under the guise of ACA 090, and we offered that this summer and had 9 students enroll. 6 of them were were GED. They were still enrolled in GED classes, and 3 of them had just graduated. So those students, 8 of them completed, and 6 of them are actually enrolled in curriculum programs now, but not in the career pathways. They're all college transfer. We've been successful in identifying pathways, 9 pathways. We were looking at culinary, college transfer, electrical lineman, early childhood education, landscape gardening, automotive technologies, construction trades and green technologies, the nursing assistant, and massage therapy. And to say that we've had excellent relationships with our curriculum and continuing education partners is an understatement. They have just jumped on board. They have just been so excited to work with this because they see it as a channel for recruiting students that have always been difficult to recruit. So that partnership has been a real positive thing. We began with a transitions work group, and that work group has done all of the planning for Basic Skills Plus. They've done all the planning for the breaking through work that we have done, and that includes all of the department chairs in the institution for vocational technical, for occupational, for college transfer, and for basic skills. And then we have 2 vice presidents who meet with us, plus instructional staff, so and student services staff. So all of those folks are engaged in planning and trying to anticipate the pitfalls that you meet. We've been able to develop college and career readiness classes. I heard several people say that, you know, one of the things that happen because students are not prepared, they don't know what to expect, it's very different, and all that upfront information that you give them is so important. So we've engaged all of our students in college and career readiness classes, which begin looking at life transitions. What do you do when this happens? How do you make, how do you make choices, and what are the consequences of those choices, and what do you do about them? And then we have been able to offer a Basic Skills Plus lab that offers supplemental instruction for individuals who are taking the Basic Skills Plus classes. They can come in with their work from their curriculum class and get tutoring. We also are doing college placement test prep. We're working with students on work keys and getting the CRC and then some of their soft skills. So those are some of the successes that come to mind when I think about integrating this Basic Skills Plus program with our current programming. Challenges, and I think we all have had those. Engaging employers is always a challenge, particularly in the economic climate that we're all living in right now. We still have about a 14% unemployment rate, so we're not seeing lots of movement in the job area. So getting our employers engaged, and they can certainly give it lip service, but they don't have jobs to offer oftentimes. So what we've done in that arena is engaged our JobLink Career Center management team, which brings in many of the individuals that Sandra was mentioning from all the different heads from all the different agencies, and we are able to do some problem solving in that way. I think probably the largest, the thing with our students is they get so excited when we start doing career development and career exploration and presenting them with opportunities that, I had one student the other day said, well, I'm going to be a landscape gardener, then I'm going to come back, and then I'm going to do early childhood, and then I'm going to do nursing. And, they get so excited, they don't have, they're just ready to go right then. And even if they are ready to go, we're all semester driven, especially in curriculum. And so the emphasis and the importance is getting these students to keep that fire burning while you're waiting for the new semester to begin. So having activities and classes and things that let them know that they're working toward that goal has been a challenge. And then, preparing those students, marketing to them, preparing them for that commitment and that level of responsibility that they have to sign up for, it being a Basic Skills Plus participant, I love the idea that Sandra said of the College Ready 2.0. I think that's a fabulous idea. I think I'm going to probably steal that. And just being, you know, providing them with intensive and intrusive advisement. And intrusive is such a intrusive word. But, you know, if you don't sit down with these students and you don't really look at, you know, where their skills are, where their interests are, what makes a good match, and then looking at what are you going to do if the baby gets sick? What are you going to do if the car breaks down? What are you going to do if your wife leaves you? What are you going to do if the house burns down? What do you know, all of those things, you know, how is that going to impact your education? And, you know, one of the codicils that we have to our Basic Skills Plus program is that, you know, once you've gone through all the hoops and all the steps and you sign up for it, and then, you know, because it's really too hard and you decide that that's not what you want, then, you know, you have to go back to the bottom of the list, or you may not ever, you know, get that chance again. So that advisement component is just so important. And we have 2 dedicated transition advisors that work with our students and really keep them real, I guess. Those of you that have done Basic Skills Plus, I'm sure that you all have had the contractual issues of, you know, how to get it coded correctly in Datatel and how to get the money pulled from one area to the other area and all of that, and that continues to be a challenge. And then a couple people have also mentioned the auxiliary costs, the costs of books. You know, if they're in, especially in allied health field, the books are hugely expensive. Many of the pathways require equipment. For example, the electrical lineman pathway that we're offering, there's about $1,000 in extraneous equipment, steel-toed boots, you know, gloves that go up to your armpits, you know, hard hats, all those kinds of things that they have to have, you know, in order to stand on a 40-foot pole and wave in the breeze and tempt lightning. Testing fees, license fees, all of those kinds of things. But I think the challenges, as I've listened to everyone talk, are very, you know, we're all seeing, you know, pretty much the same challenges. You know, this is a brand new thing. You know, it's something that intrinsically we all know that needs to happen. We know that our learning and our teaching needs to have a verticality to it. It doesn't always need to be linear, but it's just been different. And you know, I don't know that it gets better. It just gets different. Our learning has, you know, these were some of the things that I've, you know, thought about. You need to know what the vision is, who your constituents are, and then where to find the experts. You know, I can't tell you how much we've employed, you know, Davidson County Community College to help us. Everybody who needs to be involved should be invited from day one, you know, to facilitate communication. You should know that the process affects all areas of the college in a systemic way. It's not just about basic skills. It involves student services. It involves continuing education. It involves curriculum. It involves the business office. I mean, it is a whole paradigm shift. So, like if you move one little piece of a mobile, it'll move all the other pieces. So you have to be really sensitive and not, you know, get people's back up. And I can't remember who said it, but there will always be surprises. There always will be. And and then I would suggest to develop your model. Use it, then tweak it. And then remember that sometimes less really is more. I mean, it's better to do it well with a little bit than to cover the waterfront and not do it well at all. And finally, I would say keep focused on the students. If they don't buy it, then you've wasted your time. If it's not about students and they don't see the benefit, then, you know, you might as well hang it up and go to the house. So I really appreciate the opportunity to share what we've been doing.
Thank you, Beverly. I think we'll move on to Judy. We will be addressing some questions at the end of this session, so don't go nowhere. Judy, tell us about your program.
I'm very excited to be here and to share my program with you. I find one of the challenges is selecting the qualified students, as Minnie has already said. If you don't get a student that's qualified just because they want to be there, is not going to be a learning success for them. We assess all of our students prior to allowing them to get into the program, so we know what their academic level is, what their weaknesses are, and what their strengths are. We also ask them to fill out a packet, much like a scholarship packet. I want them to explain to me why they want to be in this program, what it's going to do for them. It lets me understand a little bit about if the student has even thought about it. And then you have to motivate these students for a fast-paced learning opportunity. It's totally different than the way Basic Skills normally runs at Lenore Community College. We allow them here to kind of move on their own pace, learn as they go. But when you get into this program, in one semester, you're really going to be moving along. You're going to be studying all the time. You'll go home, you'll have homework, you'll be here 5 days a week. There's not going to be any time for taking off and going to the state fair or going to see Johnny play a baseball game. So for one full semester, they've got to really be focused. We also find that many of the students do not have good study habits. They never have developed them as they come through school. And that's something I guess we really should work with in all of our programs. But if they don't have good study habits, they'll sit there up half the night and they'll study, only to come in the next day and find out they didn't study the right stuff. But I worked so hard and I failed. We have to teach them what they need to do, what they need to study. When a teacher says something and writes it on the board, you know, it's probably really important. Then we have to instill in them a strong commitment to the program, because if they're not committed, then it's not going to work. I don't need them to get halfway through the process and say, oh, well, I'll just try it again later, because that opportunity is not going to come a second time around. They'll get that opportunity once, and they need to know that, yes, it is going to be hard. It's going to be something that they've never done in their life before, to be that committed to one particular goal and to try to complete it in one semester. But if they'll hang with it, do as we ask them to do, and we're going to be there to support them all the way. If we can just get them that committed so that they'll stay, then we'll have some good students in the program. We're on our second cohort in CNA 1 right now. The first cohort, 9 students completed the program successfully. 9 of them were employed as CNA 1s, 8 of them in North Carolina and 1 in Connecticut. 6 completed their GED and 3 are working on their GED. And 9 completed their CRC. Now we started with 14, but 9's a pretty good, we thought a pretty good success rate. Partners with internal and external agencies, if you think you're going to do it all by yourself, you're setting yourself up for failure. These students need all kinds of support, and the only way they're going to get it is if we develop those partnerships that will work with our students and want to work with our students to help them be successful. We provide support services for as many things as we can, but most of the things we get through these partner agencies. And by the partner agencies, I'm talking about Department of Social Services, the Employment Security Commission, local community action agencies, the local transit, and that's about the bulk of them, except we do some religious agencies also that are willing to provide uniforms for our students, or daycare if they need emergency daycare. But all of these become barriers, and if there's not a place to help them get it, they don't have the money. We provide time, extra time for them to complete their official GED test, because they'll come up and say, well, Ms. Hill, we're in class 2 days a week for CNA 1, and we're in class 2 days a week for GED, and then we're in class a half a day for HRD. When do I get to actually take my official GED test? So we try to provide Friday afternoons. It's not a time that they're required to come, but we provide the opportunity for them to take practice tests and a tape test and official GED tests so that they can complete their GED as they move through. And finally, one of the most important things for them is encouragement. A lot of these students have never had anybody that came by and just patted them on the back and said, you know, you're doing really good. I was looking at your work and I talked with your instructor and she says you're doing fine. I'm so proud of you. They need to hear that. Now, what's new? We're going to start in November, late November, with a Basic Skills Plus that will be at the Department of Juvenile Justice Centers here in Kinston. I find that we have a lot of students that are in a GED program at these centers that when they get out, they don't have a skill set, so they're on the avenue of coming right back in. So if we can provide them a GED and a skill set, we give them the opportunity when they leave the juvenile justice centers to truly have another start. And right now we have already set up at the local centers an automotive program, a horticulture program, and are in the process of doing a culinary art program. Now, the juvenile justice centers has put a lot of money into this when they partnered with us to provide the all the stuff that would be needed in these classrooms if we could just provide the classes. So we're going to give this a try in November and see how that works. I thank you very much for coming and for listening to me. And if you have any questions, please let me know.
Okay, and at this time, Matt, are we going to discuss some questions?
We do. First of all, for all the people who may be watching this presentation, you'll notice the email addresses of our panelists below their names. I encourage you to reach out to them if you do have other questions that we may not address as we wrap up this session. First of all, great job to the panelists. A couple things really jumped out, and one of them that really made my ears perk up was about the fees. Diane talked about some of the fees and the fact that she had formed a Basic Skills Club. So a question for the other panelists, how have you approached the issue of the fees for the students? Are there any other innovative things that you guys are doing to help the students out?
This is Sandra at Davidson County. We have partnered with Davidson Works, our local WIA board, and they have worked with us to pay some of the fees that we are not able to pay.
Great. Anyone else?
Well, this is Barbara at Wilson Community College. We work closely with our Con Ed division and our the foundation board here at the college to provide the students with a scholarship to pay for their fees. Each of the 3 students who participated in our Basic Skills Plus project received a scholarship of $500 to take care of everything they would need to be successful in that project.
Right. Now, was that a difficult process for them, or was it?
No, because the college really bought into it. They had an opportunity to see what it would mean to the students, as well as we also do try to transition a lot of our GED and adult high school graduates over to Con Ed or to the curriculum side of the college. And all students, once they complete their secondary degree with us, the foundation board gives them a free course. This was something different. We took the risk and we gave the monies up front. Normally that money would have been given once the student completed as a reimbursement. But the students' background check and everything gave the college confidence that they would follow through. So they were provided with that monies up front.
Nice, nice. Anyone else?
This is Beverly at Caldwell. We do a very similar thing. As Sandra was saying, we work with WIA and some of Continuing Ed provides some scholarships, and we also work with our college foundation to provide some assistance. The problem I see in the future is that if this becomes a very well accepted and well populated program, that the funds, those kinds of funds, are fairly limited. And if you have 75 or 100 students engaged in various and sundry pathways that have all kinds of requirements. For example, one of our pathways requires that the student obtain a CDL license as one of the stackable credentials, and you know, the licensure for CDL is about $300. You know, that's above and beyond, you know, background checks and all of the things that they have to do. So, you know, those are students need to be aware of those things early on,
right.
not just, you know, not just enroll in class and get the supply list the first day.
Right. Great.
This is Barbara at Wilson Community College. I just want to add what Beverly was saying. That is so true. I do believe if Basic Skills Plus is going to be successful across the community college system, some form of additional funding or something for Basic Skills program should be considered. I don't know how long I will be able to tap into our foundation or even our workforce investment boards here locally. Students don't oftentimes have that money up front to pay for those courses. This is such an important project. It would be great to see if there was some funds tied to it as well to assist students in paying for some of these costs.
Right. Great observation. That kind of leads me to my next question, and it's relative to the persistence of the students. I believe it was you, Barbara, that talked about persistence a little bit, but I'm curious from the other panelists, what have you seen? Are your students persisting more, or do you see your students completing as compared to your programs before Basic Skills Plus? Is this additional, I guess, work and some job-related skills, is that, do you see any changes? Do you see any improvements in persistence?
This is Barbara again at Wilson
right.
Community College. The students that were selected were regular attenders. That was one of the things that we valued and looked for in all of the applicants that applied. I wanted to know their attendance and persistence prior to the project, and if they were attending 25 and 30 hours of class per week, then that was a student that I wanted to look at further. Students that were not attending because of transportation, family issues, and only attending class 6 or 7 hours a week. Personally, I felt that that student, chances are, would not have followed through. And so I gambled on looking at those students who had high attendance a semester prior to, and the 3 people that we selected, they have followed through, they have enrolled, and I'm just happy with the success. Now, next year, will it be the same? I don't know, but I'll use the same formula in looking at people who I will consider participating in the project.
Right, and I think you bring up another interesting point is the selection process, and it sounds like each of the colleges may employ a different process. Can anyone else talk to how they selected their students?
This is Sandra at Davidson again. We did have the students fill out an application, and as part of that application, they had to have an instructor's signature, and the instructor had to verify that they had been in class 90% of the time and that they were making satisfactory progress in their basic skills class towards their GED or adult high school diploma.
Great. Anyone else?
This is Judy Eleanor. When we did our application and we looked at the attendance records and at what the students had been able to complete to this point, it was interesting to see that the students that we selected, most of them's attendance still improved because they had bought in and they were committed to this program. But at the same time, one other interesting thing I found was I tried to get students that were pretty much GED level. And when I thought about that, I thought, no, this is supposed to be the students that are the most needy. So I allowed some students in that were less than ninth grade level, but still met the requirements of the CNA 1. And when you watched and you looked, those lower academically level students struggled very hard, but they didn't give up. They didn't complete a GED, great, but they completed at least one module, if not 2, and they're still working.
That's great. Well, we have a few more minutes left, and I'll ask any of the other panelists if you have any other comments, anything, any other advice you might think of. Group? Anyone?
This is Diane at Stanley Community College. I just want to encourage people to go ahead and give it a try. It is an awful lot of work up front to make sure that you're ready to go. It's work during the program, but the success that these students have and the growth that they have make it well worth your time and effort. The change in them is just remarkable, and we are changing their lives, not just their education.
That is great. Well, I'd like to take this opportunity again to thank our panelists, and for anyone who is watching or listening, do reach out to our panelists. I'm sure they'll respond. We look forward to future sessions, and again, this will be posted on successnc.org. And if you have comments, suggestions for improvement, or future sessions, please do not hesitate to email me at my address shown there on the screen. So for the Community College System Office, I thank the panelists, and have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.